Here's the graphic. Here's this is, by the way, Paul, you don't know, this is the United States of America.
Yeah. Good.
There is Alaska, that big blob on the left corner.
Where's Canada? That's the 51st state.
They're way up, and Greenland, the 52nd state, is just to the right of them. Now, everything in yellow is the highest paid public employee in all of those states. Now, I knew that salaries had risen. There's no doubt. There's been an arms race with that. But I didn't know it would be this large. John Valade sent this to us based on Andrew Petcash. But 43 of the 50 states in the United States, a college coach is the highest paid public employee. And what he mentioned here in this tweet was, you wait a little bit. Do you think there might be, at some point, there's a different color because it's not a football coach, but a football player?
No.
No.
College? No, because coaches make their salary mostly on what they've done. College players make their salary on potential, for the most part. Like it's swung the other way. Nobody is paying Kirby Smart because of what he might do. Like he earned his number by what he's done, right? I mean, there's a little bit of potential there, like what he might do, but they know, here's where he is, here's what the going rate is. As we're players, it's all potential.
Did we ever think, though, that there are some players in college football that are making more than some college coaches in college football?
Well, yeah. But not
so
head coaches.
Maybe not, but it's a thought. It's a discussion.
Yeah, it's like the top paid quarterback at the best school, let's say Ohio State versus like the Kent State head coach.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so it's that much of a degree of separation where you're talking about the worst program in the entire organization that is lucky to win a game, and then the national champions, like in that case. And I don't even know, what the differential would be, but absolutely not. There's not going to be a player making more than a head coach. If you're a head coach that's good enough to land a quarterback that's commanding like $10 million a year, then you're probably a $14 million head coach. Because how are you bringing in a guy and who would be worth that? I mean, if anybody, it would be Arch Manning. That is simply at this point based off of entirely hype. And even then, $10 million. I mean, Fran Brown was scoffing at $2 million for a receiver the other day. And the only guy he said would be worth it would be Jeremiah Smith. Well, there's not a lot of Jeremiah Smiths rolling around. And even he's still not worth $10, $12 million like you're talking about with some of the top college head coaches.
Yeah, it would be Ryan Day. He's not going to make more money than his own coach.
No, and what good would that do for anybody to have a player making more than your head coach? I mean, I don't think that's probably a very stable situation. I mean, I understand in the NFL, but guess what the NFL has? Contracts and rules and fines and things like that the league dictates, whereas the schools are pretty much policing themselves. So, I don't think we'll ever see that. I think college football has gone completely off a cliff if we're seeing a player getting paid more than a head coach, because I don't imagine the scenario where a program would have that much money to dole out to a single player and not have like one of the best head coaches in all of the entire game. I mean, you don't just have some schlub and you're going, we're going to pay $12 million for a quarterback and just hope this average ass head coach can lead him to a national championship. Mm-hmm. No, you're paying a bunch of money for a quarterback to have Nick Saban coach him or Kirby Smart coach him or Steve Sarkisian coach him. So I don't know. Maybe people feel completely differently and feel like that will happen, but man, I don't see that, and I think that the game's in a much different place if that is happening.
All right, college coach is not just football. The yellow, or whatever color you want to say that is football coach. Look at the ones in orange. Right there in the middle, Paul, a place called Kansas.
Bill Self.
Yep.
I bet you number 2 is Jerome Tang.
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, like I would bet you the top 4 paid state employees in the state of Kansas are Bill Self, number 1, and some combination of Lance Leipold, Chris Kleiman, and Jerome Tang, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, I think it could happen in basketball.
A basketball player? Oh, yeah.
I think that's much more likely. I think that's probably already happened in some places at this point. I think that might have happened in a lot of different places already. Now, we hear some of the figures being thrown around. The best college basketball coaches are getting over $5 million. I don't know how many college basketball players are getting $5 million deals.
And the states that have the schools that can pay a basketball player $4 million are paying their football and basketball coaches more than that.
14 million.
Is Javonte going to make more than Kevin Young?
What? Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Self makes 13 million, 23, 24. I'm sure that hasn't changed much. And
problem is we don't know what Kevin Young makes.
That's true.
We don't know what he makes exactly, but I mean, I'll say no because I think it's one thing in the pros, but I think if you've got a situation like college where the player's making more than the coach can basically tell the coach to go F himself because I make more money than you, I don't think that's a system that you're really wanting to set up if your college is. I don't think that's going to pay off in the long run.
If they're smart enough to see it coming, which they better start working on that now.
I mean, yeah, but okay, so if you look at like Johnny Jones is the lowest paid head coach in college basketball that's on the record. Now, he's in the SWAC, so it's not like he's in a big league, but if they brought in a guy for $300,000, then that guy's making more money than Johnny Jones is, not counting bonuses and things like that. So I think at the low end, then maybe there's a guy, but you're also not talking about, like, they're not bringing in a multi-million-dollar player either. It would be somebody who's making like $500,000 or something, because if they can't how could they possibly afford that, right? So I think there's a balance there of if you're able to pay your coach $10 million, then yeah, you're probably able to pay the quarterback $5 million. But I don't think if your coach is making $250,000, which I know is, let's say is making a couple million, I don't know that you're throwing $3 million at your quarterback. But basketball, I could see that gap closing a little bit. That seems like it's almost like the NBA salaries of just like how much those have skyrocketed. I could see the number one player in AJ DeBonce, if he's making $4 million, there's a lot of schools where he could go to where he's probably making more than the head coach. The problem is, you're not going to just some willy-nilly school. You're going to a program that's investing a lot of money. So that means they're also investing in their head coach.
All right, California, the UCLA coach is Cronin, highest paid. I believe that it would be him. Although Musselman's at USC, he got a pretty good dime. And then the state of Arizona, basketball coach, that wouldn't be Hurley. You think that's Tommy Lloyd? And is that going to be that? I don't know when this was updated. Would that be more than maybe what Dillingham is now making?
So, I mean, there's a list with coaching salaries. Tommy Lloyd's the 10th or 9th highest paid head coach in basketball. He's making $5.2 million.
I wonder if Dillingham is now. And again, I don't know when this graphic was dated.
So you're telling me Mick Cronin makes more money than Lincoln Riley?
It says basketball coach.
Private. Sorry. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
So okay. Never mind.
No. Yeah.
Every time I always forget that USC is private because they don't have a private school name.
No.
They have a very public school name.
Do you think anybody's gotten more money than Keontae George here of late at Baylor? Do you think some of the recent guys have? Probably the market has gone up.
Probably a little slightly up.
What was the rumor for him? That was like $3 million, right? Yeah. So let's say VJ is getting, $4 million? Would that be fair? Would you say that's probably in there?
Yeah.
Scott Drew's making more than $4 million.
Yeah, no, Scott's in the 6, 7, 8 million. Right.
So, I mean, I'm just throwing that as an example of like that those guys are making pretty high-end money as players. Like, I don't think that many people are getting paid more than VJ Edgecombe, at least coming out of high school, or Keontae George. Now, once they get there and establish themselves, maybe it's a different story. But Scott Drew's still making probably $5-6 million. So,
and especially after the Kentucky flirtation.
Yeah. So, he's making more money than he ever. I think he's a top 10 highest paid coach. They're a private school, but somehow he's still listed on here. So they got that from USA Today somehow or another.
I think at one point when the Kentucky thing was going on, I'm not sure before or after, it was like just over $5 million. Yep.
But, yeah, I mean, the team as a whole is definitely making way more if you go that direction. Of course, that's obvious. But just a single player, I think, no. But what else did you have on there as far as?
All right, so I want to get to what you would think maybe if we did this 25 years ago. Nevada, medical school plastic surgeon. Paul, help me with the ones north.
Maine is the law school dean.
So many different,
Vermont, I can't read it from here. I remember reading it earlier.
College presidents.
Yeah.
A lot of college presidents. Medical school dean. College president. Those are the other ones that are not the coaches, and mostly football and then basketball.
Yeah. So, and of course, no politicians are on here because they're off the books.
Yeah, of course.
But I think they're.
And again, these are public employees, as we had to clarify that too.
Public employees. But it's and also look, you can see Alaska doesn't have a major university, so theirs is not going to be a football or basketball coach. Hawaii's is their football coach. Nevada surprises me a little bit, but when you are, with the dean of plastic surgery at a university in Las Vegas, I do think that probably is a job that's in high demand.
Minnesota combination football and basketball coaches. That's why it's got the little bit of a what do you want to call it?
Stripes.
Stripes. Yeah, that's a big word for me.
What's on your shirt?
Stripes.
Okay, there you got it the second time. Good job.
It's a convenience store called Stripes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Stripes because it's the
Stars
football and basketball coach make the same
That's
money.
what I said that. That's why I couldn't come up with Stripes, though. I'm just, you guys, listen. Paul, you're on your way up here.
So is Craig. He just, he's just made the turn. Like I made the turn a long time ago.
All right, so there we are with that. Thank you for those. Some good stuff in the chat room as well. Mitch Harper from KSL around the corner. Roger Dodger, Caleb Williams made $10 million in 23, almost probably just as much as Riley, but not as much. And again, they're not listed USC private school.
That's a fair one. I think Riley might be making more than that, but I don't know that for sure. That would probably be one of the closest examples that you would have, though. I don't think Nico is coming anywhere close to Josh Heupel.
No,
and I think in most places, they're not even close. But that might be you think about that. You had to get him to transfer from Oklahoma. He's a big-time Heisman contender. But even still, I'd bank on Lincoln Riley. And if it's not like just base salary, $10 million versus $9 million or whatever, add in the home expenses and all that. Now, I think Caleb Williams is getting a lot of that stuff too, like cars and all that probably for free or, getting money for car payments, apartments specifically. But, that'd probably be one of the closest examples. But I'd say 99.9 out of 100 times, or if not 100 out of 100, then that's not the case.
All right. Thank you very much, John Valade, for sending that our way. Just a little nugget when we come back.